Hello guys, this is Amos Tarfa. I just want to make a quick video for parents with elementary school students. My wife and I are blessed with 7 children, ages 12 down to 1. And so it's an exciting experience watching where each one is at, right? So I want to give some thoughts and recommendations, and I apologize for the delay. Someone else had asked about curriculum for math. And so this is my way to summarize recommendations for families on raising the next generation of scientists, thinkers, and philosophers who also know apologetics. So stay tuned for the homeschool apologetics or the young people apologetics course coming soon. Okay, so you have somebody who is 3 or 4 years old. They like playing with pens and paper, or they want to do math. I would put them on the Singapore math track, starting in pre-K, their pre-K book, and work them through the 5th grade book or 6th grade book. And so let me know if you want me to send a link for that. But here's what I mean. One of the fundamental differences between educating people today in 2024 versus 1924 is that grade-based learning is actually expired. We still use it partly because it's easier to make sense of certain things, we think, but it's not as effective because those textbook demarcations, like when you were living in 1924, you didn't have access to all the textbooks of all the grade levels, right? Now we do. So what we need to do is we need to create a roadmap. This is the approach I use. You create a roadmap for your child. What is the best roadmap for math and science for a child? I'm going to say it now. It's get them to understand general relativity, Albert Einstein's theory of general relativity. How do you do that? You literally guide them on a path from counting to calculus, linear algebra, discrete mathematics, statistics, and beyond. Even if they want to become a sociologist, get them there. Why? Because when your children are younger, they have the mind being more malleable and so on and so forth. And if you could guide them, especially if they seem to like it right now, if you could guide them to that path, then what's going to happen is that they will, again, get the highest level of math and science and physics, and then they could decide, okay, I want to go into this other field, but they have the base. But what if they decide, I want to become an electrical engineer? It's not at that time that we start telling them, oh, you need to take calculus. And then they're like, why? I didn't take the prerequisites. No, why don't we just guide them along? And why should we learn calculus? Because it's beautiful. Like, calculus is beautiful. Physics is beautiful. Why don't we give kids the tools? And so that's a long story. But the point is, if your children do Singapore math, they are more likely to have a solid foundation. They could use other things like Math UC, Denison Math. There's some good resources. Don't get me wrong. But why is Singapore math one of the best? Because number one, the country of Singapore has been number 1 for 15 years. For if somebody is number 1 for 15 years in math performance, I want to know what they're doing. I want to know what kind of food they're eating. Like, I want to know what's going on. There's something going on in Singapore. Now, I have a friend from Singapore and one of our huge supporters who's from Singapore, but he would say that there are areas Singapore needs to improve. And that's part of what our company is actually doing in helping students in Singapore. We want to teach them the history and philosophy of math and science. They don't learn that in Singapore, and they need to learn that as well. So basically what we're trying to do is we're taking the best math rigorous curriculum we know, Singapore, Nigeria, and India, and we are adding it on to the best pedagogy of teaching the history and philosophy of math, so that every child that goes through any of the curriculum work I do should know. When I say Leonard Euler, they know who I'm talking about, when he lived, what he did. When I say Isaac Newton, they know who he is, what he did. When I say Carl Friedrich Gauss, they know exactly what I'm talking about, right? So if somebody is 4, 5, 6 years old, take the Singapore math set and just let them keep going through the books. Don't stop them like this year because they're done with the kindergarten book and then kindergarten, or they're done with the 1st grade book, so let's wait till next year to do 2nd grade. No. Keep going through the book. When they finish Singapore pre-K, K 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, technically they don't have to do 6, but if you want them to do 6, that's fine. Like, let them do it in order. Don't take breaks in the summer. Just keep going year round, a little bit at a time. Just go through it. When your child is done with Singapore pre-K to 5 or 6, they are officially ready for counting to calculus. Counting to calculus will then take them, review everything they learned from pre-K to 6th grade, and launch them into algebra. That's what counting to calculus does. Again, it's not about grade level. It's not about age. It's about mastery and understanding. And counting to calculus will then take that child from basic math all the way to calculus 1 and give them the math tools and skills to do calculus 1, calculus 2, linear algebra, discrete mathematics, statistics. They can be 12 years old and do all these classes I just mentioned. the age doesn't matter. It's the mastery level, and teaching them the history and the applications is going to help because they will understand how to, like, why am I learning about prime numbers? What's the point? Well, prime numbers help us with, we say security and encryption. Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Tell me more. Who came up with prime numbers? Euclid. Oh, 300 BC. Okay, this is unbelievable. A guy came up with prime numbers 300 BC. We use it today to do network encryption. Okay, let's read a little bit more from Euclid. And that's what we do in Counting to Calculus. We have Euclid's book, we have Euler's book, we have Newton's book. We want students to master mathematics like never before. The part about the topics they need to learn, like that's the easy part. Students can finish the whole syllabus for the year in half the year. Like in 4 months, they can finish the syllabus. That's not the problem. The problem now, or the thing we need to do more of now, is let's think deeper. Why did Isaac Newton discover pieces of calculus? Why did he do it? Okay. What can you come up with? What can I come up with to better solve problems in math and science? We literally become part of the creators of the content for the next generation. That's our standard. Our standard is not just to master a bunch of concepts. We can do that. There's 248 topics from Counting to Calculus. From literally what is a number all the way to the beginning of Calculus 1 is 248 topics exactly. You could do that in a year. You can finish first grade to 11th grade math in a year. I know, that sounds crazy. Let me repeat. You can finish first grade to 12th grade math in a year, comfortably, if you commit your mind to it. Let's even go crazy. You can finish it in 2 months. Like if you gave me someone now who's like a non-traditional adult who's like, I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with my life, and I feel like I need to go back to school and learn data science, but they say I have to take calculus. How can I learn everything in 1 month? In 31 days, I can teach you first grade to 12th grade math. In 31 days. If you commit to 8 concepts a day, right? That sounds like a lot. But remember, some days you're going to be learning addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, place value. That's like nothing. You'll be done with that in like, 2 hours. If you commit to 1 month and you're a non-traditional student out there, or somebody who's in the military that is trying to readjust back to life in America, like you've gone overseas, you've come back, I can give you everything in a month. And in a month, you are ready for Calculus 1. Now, you might not be the best in Calculus 1 to start, but guess what? I give you the notes. You're going to have notes. My journal just came out on Amazon. So you can use those journals and notes and go back and review. But guys, this is a new era. I am so excited to raise the next generation of Isaac Newtons, James Clerk Maxwell's, Marie Curie's, people who are exceptional in math and science. Okay, that's a lot. This is like a rant. Stay tuned for the podcast, which is going to start this month, where we talk about strategies in math and science and education, homeschooling, and you can call in, ask questions. We'll try and do sessions like that. We'll do some YouTube lives, Facebook lives. I just think that we are underutilizing what's before us in raising some top thinkers. But most importantly, though, what's the point of all of this? I think that we have to go back now to the fundamentals. And that's my book, Why Do I Exist, talks about this. My website, livingsensibly.org, tries to teach about faith and the Bible and how to live a life that makes sense. We're going to be talking a lot more about that, especially as we go into this season in December, this Christmas and New Year's season. So stay tuned, subscribe, follow. I look forward to encouraging others with the things that God has blessed me with. God bless you. Take care. Have a blessed weekend and stay tuned for more.